What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was all the posthumous albums or songs that have come out over the past couple years. Posthumous meaning after death. Juice Wrld is the example that I just sort of stumbled upon today. Well, actually, I found 3 examples of this just today. So I was looking for songs to review later in the stream today, and 3 of the songs were by artists who are dead. There was this Juice Wrld song, a new Lil Peep EP, and there is a Hella Sketchy remix. All 3 of those artists are dead, and yet they still keep releasing music. Another couple examples of this were the XXXTentacion album from a couple years ago, which was not good. It was like very obvious that was rushed and not really a piece of finished work. There's also the Pop Smoke album, which again, I think was rushed and just didn't feel complete. It felt like they wanted to put something out because both of those artists had all this momentum behind them, and they knew there was a lot of money to be made. So they said, well, what do we do with these handful of tracks that we have out? Like, can we cobble this into an album? I don't think that that's the case with the Juice Wrld stuff. I think the Juice Wrld stuff is a lot better. The Lil Peep song was completely finished. That's the Lil Peep Friends EP. These are finished songs from years ago that they decided to release. But it does seem like this trend is here to stay. And so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Like, is this something that we can get behind? Is it weird? I want to hear what you guys think. I have some thoughts, but tell me in the chat what you think of it. This is one of the Lil Peep songs, which is a really good song. There's a few questions here to me. My first thought about this idea of posthumous albums, like my initial reaction is, I don't like it. If the artist is dead, don't put it out. Like, that's weird. It feels like a cash grab. Don't do it. But I thought about it a little bit more and I said, you know, maybe it's not that simple. I guess it's like a case-by-case thing for me. It depends a lot on the specifics of every individual song, every individual artist, and kind of who they are and where the material stands. So let's look at a couple different examples of it. One example would be this one. This is the Lil Peep and Young Goth. I guess it's an EP. It's called Friends. It's 3 songs. He did a blog post about this that were apparently recorded in Denver back in like 2016 or something, and for whatever reason they were never released. So these are finished songs and they're really good. He recorded them with, you know, with Young Goth, a good friend of his. And so in that scenario, I'd go, well, I can't really think of a reason not to put that out, right? I mean, it was completed material. It's good. It's not like they're releasing some half-baked demo that he wouldn't be proud of, I guess. I mean, who knows why it didn't get released, but I think it's good material. Why not put it out? Because we know the fans want to see it. I know I certainly do. That's kind of the first and best case scenario. It's just unreleased material that's been sitting around. In that case, I feel like it's probably justified to release that stuff, right? The Juice Wrld song, at first I didn't like. At first it felt weird, and I'll tell you why. Because this song is called Already Dead. Let's listen to the lyrics. Remember, so for anyone who's not familiar, he OD'd, I don't know, a year ago, something like that. Let's listen to the lyrics.
Demons coming back from the past, feeling like I'm about to relapse. Everyone wants me dead, bitch, I'm already dead.
Everyone wants me dead, bitch, I'm already dead.
Taking medicine again, and he mix it with the Vicodin.
You know, and at first I was like, God, that is weird. Putting out a song like this with a title like this, with lyrics like this after he's dead, like this feels weird. This feels like capitalizing on his death in a way, right? Like that's how it felt to me. And maybe it is that, I don't know. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I thought, you know, people are going to hear this song so differently than they did when he was alive, right? Because I mean, it's the same with, you know, the song One More Light by Linkin Park, knowing what happened to Chester. The lyrics hit differently, right? And you could argue that this is exploitative, and maybe it is to some extent. But on the other hand, people are going to hear these lyrics differently, and maybe will think differently next time they hear someone write a song like this or talk about things like this online, or if they know somebody who's dealing with mental health or substance abuse issues, maybe it's going to make them go, oh, maybe I should take this seriously. You know, like I remember Juice Wrld was saying this stuff and then look what happened to him. My friend is saying stuff like that. Maybe I should take this more seriously. So I think there's maybe some benefit to that. And it's also a really good song. At least I think so. So this doesn't feel to me like they just like crapped out, you know, some half-ass thing as a cash grab. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the circumstances around it. That was just sort of my reaction.
Reaching for the pills no more. One more and you're on the floor.
One more pill and you're on the floor. I mean, a lyric like that, knowing that like that's how he died, you know, from ODing on pills at the airport in Chicago, it's creepy. Like it says in the chat here, gets you to think what the artist or songwriter was thinking / planning out the message of the song before their death. It does. I mean, and somebody mentioned Avenged Sevenfold. Another song like that is Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold, which Jimmy, the Rev, the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold, wrote. And, you know, it sounds like a suicide note. Like if you read the lyrics, like it sounds like a suicide note, and he died, I don't know, 6 months after that or something. You know, I think there is some benefit to releasing a song like this as a way of helping people think about addiction and mental health. And, you know, we've made a lot of progress there, but I think every time somebody dies from suicide or OD or something, we say the same thing. It's like, oh, well, we should have seen this one coming. Next time, you know, we'll be better. But are we better? Because this stuff keeps happening. And we seem to not learn from it. So maybe we need more songs like this. I don't know. Then there's the third example, you know, the Pop Smoke. This is one of them, right? Yeah. You know, the Pop Smoke and XXXTentacion stuff. It felt yeah, it felt like a cash grab. And so again, I thought, oh, well, if it's cash grab, it's not cool. They shouldn't do it. But then I thought, well, what if this person has family members? What if they have a kid or a wife that they left behind and that money is going to go to benefit their family? Well, maybe if it is cash grab, maybe it's still okay. What if the money from this posthumous album is going to fund their daughter's college education? In that case, I would say, you know, maybe it's okay. It's still weird, but maybe it's okay. So it seems like this is going to be with us, I guess. And it's kind of a new thing. I don't know if that's because more artists are dying or because, you know, with recordings being digital, there's some, like Lil Peep apparently has hundreds of unreleased songs or unfinished songs. He recorded like sometimes multiple songs a day. So there's all these tracks sitting around on hard drives somewhere, and people are going to find them and they're going to, well, what do we do with this? Like, he recorded this song that's pretty good. Should we do something with it? So it seems like this is going to be with us. And I guess the question is, you know, what do we do with it? Then there's the stuff, the holograms, which I find just totally, the hologram stuff to me is so gross. You know, there's like the Tupac hologram. I don't know who signs off on that stuff, but the hologram of a dead artist playing to me is just totally uncool. That's just bizarre. I can't imagine any artist would like that. I mean, like hologram Kurt Cobain, that's what I want to see. Although he might think that was funny. You know, he might be like, yeah, man, do it. Put a hologram of my haggard corpse up there. I love it. He might like it. What do we think about the idea of posthumous albums? For it, against it, don't care? What do you think? Give the people what they want? There's that too. If the fans love it, then who are we to say? The Pop Smoke album went to #1, right? I mean, people, so did X, like, people seem to like it. What if we found an unreleased Pantera song? Wouldn't you want that to come out? Even if it was like maybe not totally finished, wouldn't you want it to come out? I would like to hear it. Actually, there was one, wasn't there? I totally forgot about this. She's a cherry pie for dudes with beards. More than one person worked on a song. If someone dies and it's out of your control, still have to feed the family. That's usually true, but with people like Peep, it might not be. But I get your point. I think it does kind of change a little bit if it's one person, a solo artist versus a band, because let's say it's a band, even if there's one primary songwriter, there's whatever, 3 or 4 other people in the band who can speak to what that person's wishes would have been, kind of, you know, help make the decision. They know better than anyone what that person would have wanted, and they also have a legal, probably some like legal control over it, versus if it's a solo artist, you know, what do you ask? Their best friend or their roommate? You know, it's a little bit harder to know what they would have wanted, I think. These are kind of my thoughts as well. Like, after seeing those songs, you know, so many of these songs with posthumous artists, my initial reaction was like, fuck this, it sucks. You know, we should never release music after artists have died. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I was like, you know, maybe it's not that simple. And so to me, the answer is it depends. You know, it depends on how good is the music? Like, was it finished? Would the artist have wanted it to be released? What are the motivations for it? Who benefits financially? It's one of these situations where I think it's really got to be on a case-by-case basis. But either way, it seems like this trend is not going anywhere. Yeah, it is true. The amount of modern rap artists who have died is insane. Like, it's sad, but it feels like kind of weird or disrespectful to say it. But it's like, you need to sort of have a playbook of, all right, well, when one of our artists gets murdered or ODs, what do we do about it? You know, it's kind of sad. It's a good point too. It doesn't help that the industry kind of feeds into it. This is very true. The industry definitely feeds into it. You know, if you want people in rap to talk about you, beef is the #1 way of doing it, right? I mean, you just talk a bunch of shit, get in some beef with someone, and then you're going to be in everyone's mouth. It's true in rock as well. I mean, obviously, anytime Corey Taylor says anything, anytime MGK says anything, I'm going to make a video about it because it's going to get views. But the difference is in rock, people don't kill each other, and in rap they do. So the consequences of beef and drama and stuff are dramatically different in rap than they are in rock. And the industry does feed into it. I mean, there's tons of people. Look at King Von, for example. You know, I think his music was good, but it's clear that a huge part of the reason he's marketable is because of like his background as a street guy. You know, with rap, people are almost buying into you as this character in a comic book or something, of this like modern day outlaw Billy the Kid type person who just happens to make music. Heard from somewhere, if an artist dies young and at the top of their relevance, they'll be talked about more than if they would have had a normal career. I think that's totally true. Lil Peep is a great example of that. He was definitely on the come up when he died, but when he died, that is when he just became like this icon. And Nirvana also. Nirvana was not the most popular grunge band. Pearl Jam was. Like, Nirvana was maybe the most important, but they were not the most popular. And nobody talks about Pearl Jam now. Part of that is because Kurt died. It's weird to say, because I don't want to sound like I'm discrediting Nirvana, because I think they're amazing. And like, I think if Kurt was alive today, I would still think they were just as important. But it is true. I mean, the fact that he died absolutely is part of what made them the legends that they are now and made them so popular. Yeah, Pearl Jam was bigger than Nirvana. It's true. Look it up. Pearl Jam has sold a lot more records than Nirvana. Or certainly had, as of say 95 or something like that, Pearl Jam sold way more records than Nirvana. They were more popular. Yeah, Sublime, that's another good example of it. And this is true about Nirvana too. They never had the chance to make an unpopular album. That's true. So that sort of works in their favor. But yeah, it's sad.